Welcome back, everybody, to the B stream, but not the B team. It's 40 Lions and ZSX here to bring you some lower bracket action. It'll be CNZ versus Cooler. Dan, I cannot believe one of these players is going to make a first day exit.
Yeah, Cooller's going home, man. That's pretty sad.
We'll see. We'll see. It could be anybody. I feel like this has happened before. Flea, if you're out there, somebody with the facts. I don't know. I feel like it might be history repeating itself because I believe this happened last stage finals where CNZ did knock out Cooler in the first day. But nevertheless, we have Ruins, Molten Falls, and Vale ahead of us. Galena, Nyx, Keel for Cooler, Ranger, Visor, Scale for CNZ. I don't even know if it's going to go all three. Dan, do you think CNZ has what it takes to take this in two?
Ooh, I think two's tough. I mean, Cooller's definitely had a pretty rough season by anyone's standards, let alone his standards. And even coming into this, I think he performed much better against the hand than I actually expected, but still on the rustier side of his performances. So I don't think it's two, but I do expect actually a CNZ 2-1 if I'm honest.
That's totally fair. And for those that missed it, Tahang did knock Cooler into the lowers 2-1. Again, Cooler with a decent performance, all things considered, with Tahang, but Tahang taking it. And that's why we're here right now. And of course, we just saw on the main stream again, Cypher taking it over CNZ. It was a close one, 2-1, but that is why these two are battling for their tournament lives here on day one of the Quake World Championships for Stage 3, Season 2. I heard the bell, Dan, as I'm sure you did. We're going to get into map one here shortly. Again, this is the B stream. No frills here. We just go straight into the action, Dan.
It's raw and ready.
It's raw and ready, that's true. And hopefully your dog won't just absolutely obliterate your internet connection, but we'll see. Anything goes.
Dog, feet, it doesn't really matter, right? Just
I'm into all of it. It doesn't matter. It's gonna be a bit of a bloodbath here. Galena versus Ranger on Ruins. We kind of saw that a little bit already. I don't know. I don't know if CNZ has what it takes to take it against COOLLERZ Galena. I don't know if Cooler has a better kind of turtle mode, but we'll see. I think the Dire Orb can go a long way rather than the totems, but it's really about setting up that economy and getting kind of a good rotation between heavy and kind of navigating those lower corridors on this map, specifically with Galena.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it's this is going to be the one I would expect Cooler to put the bigger fight on before it gets later into it. Getting the Galena on this map is definitely a preferred pick for Cooler, but the Ranger is definitely offering a lot of utility for CNZ. And I mean, we saw this exact pick from him on Ruins before. I mean, it's this exact matchup, in fact, against Cypher, which he won. So, prior experience, big engagement already coming out with the lightning gun. As that's really battling with my ears as much as Cooler's health.
Just a whole bunch of damage, both to ears and stack here as Cooler reeling a little bit, has two totems down. Working on a third. If he can get that overstack going very, very quickly. Very beneficial. The rocket jump straight into LG, but what a good defensive rail from CNZ to knock Cooler back down to the low ground. Railable now needs to be careful. Coming around the corner, wow. CNZ takes the first frag. 50 seconds in. No signs of stopping. He's off the spawn. He's going to corner Cooler. Machine gun. Is it going to be enough, Dan? And it might be. Oh, but the Dire Orb bails him out.
Yep, that's Ranger. Wow. I mean, he was... well, there's Cooler again. But, I mean, that was pretty much CNZ to the T, the first frag. The fact that he's so adept on the defense of just doing this almost surprise amount of damage, really, but then following it up with the intuition, the awareness to understand how far he can push himself. So as much as he doesn't ball around the map being super aggressive, he really does go out of his way to do maximum damage at every given opportunity.
Max damage, the name of the game here is CNZ playing a little bit slow. Drops down onto Cooler. Cooler not quite ready with the LG here. The rail missing. CNZ backs away. There's the Dire Orb to get back up close. Can he finish this out? And he does.
Oh,
but what cost? 1 HP.
Yeah, I mean, really good play by Cooler, but slightly sloppy on, again, the rockets from a Cooler perspective. Somebody who's synonymous with crisp rockets, just not there, and letting his opponent slip with 1 HP, but there's Cooler once again coming in, but a huge defensive play from CNZ, somehow keeping himself in the game for much longer than he needed to be.
Just insane how much damage he's getting after really having no business hitting any more damage. It should have been a clean kill, but CNZ makes it sloppy for Cooler as it's still 3-2 in favor of CNZ. Cooler able to claim the Mega, slowing it down, looking for a potential rail opportunity as he makes his way towards the outer courtyard to grab a armor shard. And CNZ wants a little bit of rockets here as he deletes that totem, spots it out, does a good job of making sure the overstack doesn't affect play here.
Nice.
Good rockets from Cooler. A little bit of damage returned from CNZ.
Yeah, and Cooller's beginning to settle now into this game. He's had his fingers burn a few times, touching the prize that is CNZ, so might be reflecting on that and recalculating his approach play, but knowing Cooler, he's pretty stubborn. If he has a strategy, he will stick to it. Nice trap here, but CNZ's got a big enough stack to be able to bully Cooler away, just getting him out of the vicinity for a free heavy. Cooler though, plenty of time before this next Mega, and did hear the pick as well, so he's got timing on that and be able to delay. Big rocket coming out on the defense once again. CNZ's stubborn, trying to go back in for more. Maybe not the right player as he eats his second rocket, has to get away, and Cooler reads that follow-up rail. Can he get the frag, and how much damage is he taking?
Wow.
What?
Dire or bailing CNZ out again, but still very weak, missing with the opening rail to try and get a little bit of an even fight. But Cooler's going to be able to push this one rather easily with the LG, knowing that CNZ was weak after that fight. So again, still trailing by 1, but Cooler doing a good job of making sure this doesn't really get blown open.
I mean, that's the second frag that CNZ has got on the cusp with the orb combo. Again, just a nice frag over by the Mega, nice and clean, following up, but the Cooller's dodge coming to the fore.
Yeah, the Cooler rockets aren't as crispy as he's known for, but the dodging is there 100%, Dan, as we've seen it time and time again already, 4 minutes in. Still trailing by 1, but doing a good job. Is Cooler here. He's able to claim the heavy as he makes his way up the jump pad, potentially for this Mega, at least to deal damage. He's going to be late for the pickup, but maybe an exit rail if he's lucky. Just missing out on the opportunity there.
Yeah. Feels like Cooller's playing a bit more of a refined duel and laying the groundwork, but CNZ just coming in with the bulldozer and blowing the door open in these engagements.
It's the overstack for Cooler. He's dealing with the plow nicely here, but again, still trailing by 1, but cool and calculated, knows that he has time as we are just now hitting the halfway point of map number 1 between these two. Again, lower bracket action. The loser is already done for their stint in the Quake World Championships for Season 2, Stage 3.
Yeah, I mean, will they be the first people to go home, or was there one before this?
I think this is technically the first knockout game.
I think you're right.
They have the pleasure of being the first knockout here as the rockets just raining from both sides here. The heavy steel Cooler, 2 HP, heals up with the totem, able to get the rail off the spawn. Can he find another one? Tied at 5, no rockets left.
5 minutes into the game, the other stack has come up, and we've seen the power of that as he gets the frag. The follow-up is there, but CNZ's pretty healthy himself, having just picked up the Mega. There's a long time before this next heavy, though, so Cooler will work his way around to try and defend the weaponry. He needs to restack himself as he's low on LG, has 0 rockets to work with, so can only really play with the rocket at this point. I mean, with the rail, sorry.
Overstack again. Lay claim to the Mega. Wanted to take a little bit of a fight, you could kind of tell before picking it up, but decides to just take it and go for free.
No. He's also lost the Fortress of Totems as he's back to 0, so... A sneaky trap here, CNZ's waiting, doesn't know where he is, coming from the side! Second rocket misses though, and CNZ capitalizes himself! Cooler doesn't even get the heavy, he should be getting the frag. Again, an awkward encounter 40, but Cooler gets out on top for now. And what are you thinking moving into the last 4 minutes here? How's Cooler's chances?
Not terrible. I mean, he's playing very, very solid here. He's forcing out the Dire Orb, and CNZ almost needs the Dire Orb to get a frag, it feels like. So knowing that that's on cooldown certainly helps Cooler. As you kind of mentioned before, playing more of like a classical game, laying the foundation, and it's paying off here. Only a 1 frag lead, but just a little more solid than CNZ here on this map number 1 of this set.
Yeah, it definitely feels like he's grown into this set. You can see even his aim is getting cleaner and cleaner. I love the micro dodges he takes to offset the aim of CNZ as well. And he's beginning to have a better rotation on the items. He's got a good lockdown. And CNZ struggling to get on the map. But as I say that, back-to-back rails now, 3 or 4 in a row. That does halt the momentum of Cooler.
No armor, 100 HP. This is bad news for Cooler. Big rockets! Oh my god, the king
they are.
shows up when he needs to. Sublime rockets from Cooler before he picks up this mega. And Dan, that was immaculate. That was absolutely brilliant from Cooler.
That rocket to connect on the orb when he appeared was just, that's a chef's kiss of a rocket right there. And there's the rockets we were accustomed to from the older days, but CNZ just comes barreling through, and with 2 minutes to go, whilst we're lauding the success of Cooler, it's only 1 frag, and CNZ's found his opponent once again. Doesn't have the orb, so it has to be a frag the old school way, which it is, and it's also before the mega, so he is in a perfect position to continue this aggression. He knows exactly where the spawn's going to be. This time Cooler gets out, but it's only a matter of time before CNZ comes back with the orb in play.
Tiny bit of damage there. This Heavy's going to be up soon. Both players near the mega instead. CNZ dropping now to rail to go grab that Heavy, and he does. Cooler grabbing rockets, trying to maintain as the rocket jump comes out from CNZ. Wants this mega, but doesn't really have the territory to try and make a play on it. However, it comes through the telly. Big LG. Cooler just melting CNZ though.
Surprised CNZ forfeited that so easily. I guess it was Cooler making such an early play. CNZ just didn't have the confidence to go on in, but nevertheless, he's still in a good position to contest this Heavy, which he's going to do. This time he goes in strong. Great rockets, and it will be the end of Cooler. And with a minute to go, fully stacked, CNZ is in pole position to take this map home.
Again, just topping it off with the Dire Orb, the blue cherry on top. Dan as he tries to float with the LG. Great rail. Cooler hanging by a thread. Machine gun swap is going to be the key here, and CNZ plants him 9-7. 35 seconds remain, and CNZ has a mega in his pocket. Potential damage here at the rail as options for Cooler are running out.
They really are. It's tough to see what he has to do at this point beyond just catching CNZ completely with his pants down with some perfect damage. He's given up the Heavy, but will he be even to catch him? The orb's going to be up in a second, so if he wants to get away, he can, and he's just going to run.
No need to even risk it as CNZ pulls away. Map number 1, 9-7 over Cooler, going up in the set. And again, lower bracket action. The winner of this one moves on. The loser is done for the Quake World Championships. Cooler, 1 foot in the grave, Dan.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was definitely not his game. There was a strong period of control where it looked like the older Cooler was coming to the play, but whenever it got into a chaos situation, CNZ consistently had the upper hand in terms of just pure mechanics, if anything, and we saw the burst potential and use of the Ranger with the orb 4-5 times, so effective from CNZ. And as we mentioned at the start, this is the map he took from Cypher, the exact matchup, so he was always feeling confident in this particular play.
Yeah, I mean, the rockets weren't as crisp from CNZ, but again, he had the Dire Orb, as you mentioned, to just get that initial, or excuse me, the splash damage to just finish off the kills. We saw it about 3 or 4 times, and that put him over at the top for Cooler. So Cooler back up against the wall. Can the king reclaim, I don't want to say the throne, but at least, you know, some more time in the kingdom here. He might go out day 1.
Oh,
insane. It's just insane.
First player to go out of the QPL.
That is kind of royalty.
Oh, beyond the relegation, right? But yeah, that's quite something. And I think you're right. It was CNZ that did the dirty work last time and sent him home. So a little bit of a grudge match here. And again, knowing Cooler, it's not the type of player he would expect or ever dream of going out to. So it's a hurtful one. But he has been a champion. He still has that pedigree, and so he has the ability to take this a clean reverse sweep to 2-1. We'll have to see what happens.
Yep, we're going into Molten Falls here shortly. Cooler on the Nyx, CNZ on the Visor, and again, CNZ loves Molten Falls. So
yeah, true.
I'd give the slight advantage to CNZ on this one, but you never know. Cooler, he still has some tricks up his sleeve. Hopefully, if you're a Cooler fan, maybe we'll see a map 3. Don't know about this one, Dan.
Don't know. We didn't see an awful lot of the use of the rail on Ruins, which we're going to have to see a lot more of on Molten to maximize the impact of the Nyx. So that's going to be the defining factor I'll be looking out for on COOLLERZ side, obviously beyond the strategy. But you're right, CNZ is the specialist on this map. He's picked up the visor, which he can use very well. It's interesting to see if COOLLERZ is expecting to play aggressive on the Nyx or just play it a bit more passive as well.
Do or die time. If you're a Cooler fan and if you're Cooler here, up against the wall, might get the early exit on day 1. And history might repeat itself, but we'll see. We mentioned the 2-0, maybe a little improbable. Well, it's up to Cooler right now to kind of prove us wrong here. We'll see as we are getting into map number 2, Molten Falls, between Cooler and CNZ. Again, lower bracket action. Could be end of the line for Cooler, but we're live right now. We're going to start off on his POV as again he has the Nyx, he's got the heavy. Might have to pop the invis here as there's the play from CNZ. We've seen this before, trying to cut off the light armor after the pickup and forcing out the Ghost Walk early.
Yeah, never will you want to be using the Ghost Walk extremely early. Both use their abilities, so this big testation for the Vials, a great awareness from CNZ to be testing for this light, but there is a super shotgun, and that does some serious damage.
Big, chunky damage indeed. As the vision is popped, Cooler only 100 HP, 15 armor, needs to be careful here. It won't have Ghost Walk up for another 15 seconds, trying to wait for this Mega. Some rockets. Cooler might get bullied off here, and he does. Look at the timing of that.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect timing from CNZ. And he knew, again, the extent he could push that fight. Cooler, though, retaliating with a rail. Heavy's not up for a few seconds. He won't be able to stick around. As I say that, he's come in very late. And CNZ, how does he read that? Great awareness.
Does get a rail on the way out, but CNZ will win with the frag here. Does have the vision to know exactly where the potential aggression is coming from, and almost gets a rocket to rail combo that would have taken out Cooler. That would have been absurd.
Stopwatch. CNZ is really finding his groove. Huge stat to work with. Cooler defending the choke point, trying to buy himself enough time to fall back onto the Mega, but plenty of time left before that item spawns for CNZ to make his way around to it. Great rails from Cooler this time though. Item's going to spawn, so CNZ regroups, but Cooler's actually going to block the way. He jumps on down and CNZ gets a little bit fortunate in that engagement, but so far connecting good from Cooler, but that's all it takes. A single big rail from CNZ and Cooler's back at square one.
In the vision, yeah, that's a freebie right there for CNZ, doing a good job of utilizing that vision. Drops down to the heavy, might double back for the vials. I feel like keeping the vision up is going to be huge as he's just going straight for Cooler right now with the rocket aggression. Cooler now has positional advantage, raining down rockets, but he's going to miss out on the Mega. A little bit of a tickle, and here's the chase as CNZ has the stack and gets the frag.
But with all that damage, Cooler's got nothing to work with. With the items up, CNZ knows exactly how long before the next round of items. This time, though, he won't be able to pick up the heavy and Cooler. He really needs to get this frag back.
Oh, God,
perfect
CNZ.
timing.
So good. So clutch with the vision, getting the rail. 100 HP, he can tank another one, and he does, but doesn't get the damage he needs as Cooler does swipe the heavy. So advantage Cooler, but just like that, CNZ on the Mega. Time is perfect. Cooler's positioning is perfect. Nice. Double rail, good frag from Cooler, the king.
Well, there's the rail coming to the fore. Against CNZ, knowing how low his opponent is. He's going in, but a great back-to-back rail there with the drop down. He's still low, but he's forging a comeback.
Cooler's not going down without a fight. He's railing his way back into this one to at least a map number 3. Still trailing by 1. Ooh, that's a freebie rail. Cooler able to drop down onto the Mega and use Ghost Walk to escape. Ooh, but another rail! What? Before he makes it up the jump pad, he's got so much damage coming his way from CNZ, and around the corner, 88 HP. Can the rockets land again? Almost. Oh. CNZ finally getting the frag, but we almost saw some more Cooler magic right there.
He's pulling a bit more out the bag. The heavy's up, they're going to contest for it. Cooler sweeps in it. He's got no Ghost Walk, so he's just going to have to get out the old school way. He managed to do so scot-free. The Mega's there as well, which he is going to pick up, and it's looking good. The question is, can he get away from CNZ in the vision and the rails that he's been pulling out? That's why he's going to try and close the gap, but he's just being bounced around, and all of that hard work once again, it's all for naught.
And as you've mentioned before, playing with Nyx is fantastic if you're dictating the pace and you have the advantage, but Cooler seems to be fighting from the back foot time and time again, but he's making it work. He's keeping it close, but he's just got to work so much harder than CNZ right now just to get this even.
It just needs to be a bit cleaner. There was no reason there for him to force the issue and go up the jump pad into a dangerous zone like that as a Nyx. And there's so much time on the clock, it's unlike Cooler to force the issue so heavily.
Good tri-bolt there. CNZ exiting the telly. Dropping down on the heavy a little bit early. Might pay dearly. Here's the rockets, just not quite connecting directly. Splash damage at best from Cooler, but that's better than nothing. This Ghostwalk will be up shortly, and he might need it here. Big LG from CNZ, and there it is. Popped at 35 HP. He's not going to be able to grab this Mega in time, and he's still going to pay dearly. Damn.
Yeah, slightly unfortunate. They nearly worked out in his favor, but now look at the stack of CNZ. Not only did he pick up the item, but he got it absolutely scot-free. Cooler without the Ghostwalk as well. If there is a fight to come, it's going to be to the death, and it is to the death of Cooler. And with 4.5 minutes to go, the clock is ticking and the frags are mounting. It's looking slim for Cooler's survival in the QPL.
Could be an early curtain call here. CNZ doing a good job here, cutting off, and that LG just nothing but net. 9-4. Catching him out again. Ghostwalk forced out after the light armor pickup. Here's the telly. Ooh, and a big rocket from down south here as Cooler has nothing.
Absolutely nothing, and he's just getting bullied because he's having to force it now, and he's forcing it as a Nyx without a stack 40, and it's, as we all know, you're just so incredibly vulnerable, and CNZ is punishing those overextensions.
And I cannot believe it. I can't believe that we are going to announce it again. Cooler with the first day exit from the Quake World Championships, and just absurd to see. Obscene, really.
It is, but you have to credit CNZ. We've been talking to him for a while. He's somebody who excels in these environments, and he's consistently not only taking maps, but taking series and knocking big names out of tournaments. I mean, Cooler is a big name, if not a big performer in Quake Champions at the moment. He's still somebody that nobody wants to meet in a tournament, just given his pedigree and given his experience. Even if he's not at the top of his game right now, knocking Cooler out is still a big deal.
Totally agree. And it just seems like CNZ has his number, because he's the one to consistently do it, it appears.
Yeah, a little bit of a bogey player for Cooler. And he just does the basics so well.
Almost off the map, walking the tightrope, but
toes.
still can't get back to the Mega.
But I think that's his blessing and his curse. He does the basics so well, but doesn't seem to have the same X factor where he can just go wild like a Cypher. But he's also someone that, because of the way he plays, can absolutely beat almost anyone, if not anyone, on his day.
Completely agree here as 8 frags separate these two. CNZ, it's looking like a 2-0 here. And the rest of this game, the next 2 minutes are just going to be pure confidence boost for CNZ, as he does have a long road ahead through the lower bracket.
He does indeed, and whoever he meets as the bracket progresses is going to get progressively harder. But he is somebody we have seen in the finals days and has ground his way through lower brackets.
Definitely. I mean, as the killers start filing in down there, CNZ is just going to be proving himself time and time again, and he's done it. It's just going to be such an uphill battle, but he's got to mentally prepare here. And starting off by giving Cooler his exit, not bad at all, not too shabby, as he's grabbing a little more vials before getting the vision up. Big rocket! Yep, that was just enough. Cooler not as fortunate as before to walk the tightrope, this time just fully off the map, out the club, 1 minute remaining. 1 minute of pain, unfortunately.
And we both expected a CNZ victory, but we also said we were foreseeing a 2-1, so full credit for CNZ for showing us up in our predictions, because he has just controlled this series from start to finish. It was obviously close on last map, but still has shown dominance throughout.
Brutal LG, and yeah, you're right. I mean, going above and beyond is CNZ. Can he keep it up? Ooh, playing some of the nice rocket there. (15-4). That's all she wrote, folks. Chat, if you haven't logged in to Quake Champions, go get your QuakeCon 2021 gauntlet. as this one's done and dusted. Oh yeah, it's free 99, Dan. You don't want to miss out.
I can't get in the game, man.
You gotta cut a rug in style. There it is, the final bell, 15-3 in favor of CNZ. And wow, first round exit for King Cooler. Unfortunate again. It's history repeats itself, but you hate to see it. It never feels real. It never feels normal.
But at the same time, it feels deserved. CNZ was the better player. He played the better Quake. Cooler had his old tricks, as you said, has his old dodge, just doesn't have the same, at least mechanical side of his game. Even the strategy at times was lacking, some uncharacteristic decisions throughout, and you just cannot afford to make those level of mistakes.
Completely agree, and we can't afford to stay on the stream any longer, so see you later. The A stream's going with Avik and Dehang, and we'll be back with more action on the B stream. See ya.